Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a really simple card thanks to the products that I'm using. I am using the layered Ornaments Stencil from Pritt and Posh and I just love this stencil. I don't have a lot of layering stencils but I definitely want to buy more after using this one. So first of all, I took a piece of paper. This one is slightly wider than an A2 size, but it's way larger. I just didn't trim it ahead of time, and I started with the stencils. Now there are numbers on there, but I just completely did the other way around. Although I saw the numbers, I just thought that it was easier for me to find my way through the stencils by just starting with this one. So it works in several ways, but there are numbers on there. And then for the colors today, I was inspired by the amazing Laura Bassen. As you know, she has this definition of a Christmas rainbow, which goes from green just to reds, and I just love that. It's genius, it works so well. Last year I also made a few cards with this rainbow, and it's just a joy to create with these colors, and along with this stencil, it truly was like magic. There are many ways to use this stencil, and I definitely also think of using other combos with this stencil. Whenever I do, I don't know if I will share it on YouTube because you know the principle, but we will see. I will definitely share it online somewhere if I do that. Now, as you see me doing here, I work my way through all of the colors, and mostly I use the same blenders or brushes, just because we are creating a gradient. And I personally find when I keep my brush to go to the next color, it helps me because there is still a bit of residue on the brush, and so I find it easier to get that blend done when I have a bit of that ink left over. But you do you. And in between, I sometimes had to go back and forth between the colors. Now this is the first layer and I'm going quite softly because when I'm adding all those details with another stencil from this set, I will go a bit harder to get that detail visible on my ornaments. So first of all, we have this, and I just love revealing my stencils. Every time you see it come together more and more, and I just think it's like magic. So here I'm adding that second layer on top, making sure that it is aligned straight, and then I'm going to do the same order of distress inks, and I will just press a bit harder. And if I am using another color on top of a lighter or darker color in my rainbow, it's not an issue. It will all go really well together because it's a Christmas rainbow. So here you can see me doing this again. I went diagonally, you can do horizontal, you can do a color for each of the ornaments. You can go as crazy as you want to, and that's the beauty about this stencil as well, I think. So I just went like a crazy person here to get that yellow on there. With the residue of the green, it sort of turned out a bit greenish yellowish, but I don't mind at all. And then I'm continuing with the rest, and I just love this. I can do this all day. I think I just need to prep my papers ahead of time because I don't like cutting papers, and then I could just go like crazy with this fabulous combination. So onto my final colors for the details, and then when I reveal this, you will be, I just truly love it. So let's do this. Let's reveal it, trying not to smudge what I have underneath the stencil. And there you go. You can also use these details to add some glitter if you want to, or first do some ink blending like I did and then finish it off with some glitter. But I decided to have my sentiment with glitter cardstock, so I didn't want to go overboard with that. And then now I'm onto the final part of this layered ornaments stencil. And here I'm just going to use some browns. You can use several colors, but I just thought with all the warm tones of this rainbow that brown would go really well. So I just went over that as well. Nothing fancy, just using that stencil, and it's really such a handy stencil to have. And then I'm almost finished. So once I had all the stencils on there, I just used a basic rectangles die, mine is from Mama Elephant, to cut out the perfect A2 size panel. You can also trim it yourself if you want to, but I just prefer using dies because I cannot trim things straight. So to avoid doing that and ruining my panel, I just used a standard die to help me. So once I found the placement that I wanted to have, I used some purple tape to keep it in place. I did not want it to shift while I was running it through my die cutting machine. And then we will continue with the sentiment. Now for the sentiment, I took the glitter card Gold Dust from Tonic Studios, my favorite gold glitter cardstock. And I also used the Let It Snow script. Now I decided to first add the middle part, the It, in the center of my panel, and then I would let myself be guided by the negative of this die to get everything aligned, because I really like the spacement in between the letters by the die itself. So I just needed to figure out where the center was for this It, and then I added the rest using the negative. So as you can see, I'm just laying it down, and then I will lay my piece on top and then inlay all the rest. And that will give me a nice layout. You can also choose however you want to add this Let It Snow or any other sentiment that you might have, but I often really like the placement that was already figured out by the brand itself. So that's the let, and now the snow. And some tweezers are really handy when you want to do this, because it's a tiny die and you need to inlay it. So tweezers are really handy. So here we go, putting it inside, and once I'm glad with placement, I am removing the negative. Don't forget to diddle, as Laura Bassen would say. If you want to add a bit more dimension to your sentiments, you can always stack it up a bit, but call me lazy. And so I had that. I checked whether the snow was lined straight, and then I decided to add a few embellishments, being the Itty Bitty Stars Matte Gold from Little Things from Lucy's Cards. I really love the matte version. I also have just the regular gold, but every time I have to choose between them, I tend to go for matte gold, and I just randomly added a few of them. I didn't want to go overboard with the stars because I truly love the background, and then the sparkle of the Let It Snow would already be enough as well. But I was into those stars that day that I created this one, so we just added a few, you know. And once I was happy with the amount of stars, I added this panel on top of a card base. Just using some adhesive roller. I prefer using a roller when adding my panel to my card base. I don't necessarily know why, but it's just really handy. And once it's on there, I just make sure to press those stars down, and then this card is completely finished. It's a really bright and joyful card. I love how it turned out, and this rainbow is just spectacular. So whenever you're making a Christmas card and you don't know what to use, think Laura Bassen would love a Christmas rainbow, and just go with that one. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you like the end result. I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Thank you so much. Bye!